Hello everybody, we're doing a test game for me, at least it's a test game for me in two areas. One, it's another fall classic game, which, of course I'm trying to relearn. And two, and more importantly maybe, is trying to learn OBS. So I tried to make some things work and maybe add a little accoutrements to the presentation. I have no idea how this is going to look until we finish it with it, so we'll try it out, see what happens. We're playing a game that was played April the 9th, 1989. In Cincinnati, between the San Francisco Giants and the Reds, starting pitcher Danny Jackson and Rick Reuschel. So the first step, of course, is to do the bullpen sessions. For Danny Jackson, 19, he's on his C stuff, unfortunately for him. For Rick Reuschel, he's also on his C. We're all two 19s in a row. Go figure. Got the defensive chart handy when I need it, and I've got all the out charts in order with the out bases empty chart right here in front of me first. All right, so with that in mind, we will go ahead and get this ball game going. Hopefully, as I'm doing this, you can see on the screen that if I captured it correctly, the line score and also the pitcher-batter matchup. So you can see Brett Butler facing Danny Jackson. And I took a small portion of the infield. Well, actually, I tried to capture the whole infield so that you can see not only who is at bat, but also who's on deck, and then the infielders. And when anybody gets on base, hopefully you can see him on base as well. So you see Brett Butler hitting 143 and 14 at bats, 2 out of 14, no homers and a run driven in. And we're underway, and hopefully I don't screw this up too bad. We'll find out. We get a 62 right off the bat, and of course, Danny, both pitchers are on their C grade. 62 is going to be an out either way you go. That is an 8, and of course 8 with the bases empty is a standard fly out to center. So of course, using the direct entry on Action PC, we put in that fly ball to center, and you should see out number 1 show up on the line score. Hopefully, that little red dot up there showing out number 1. Here's Robbie Thompson, second baseman. See what he can do. Thompson hitting 200 on the season. That's a 66. A 1-3 is a home run. That's a 16, and that's going to be a triple for Robbie Thompson. 4-16 is a triple. So how about that? He had 11 triples in the real season. This is his first triple of this particular season. Of course, that hadn't been that many games. Only been 4 games. This is the 5th game of the season. So gets his first triple in game number 5. Here's Will Clark. Infield's going to come in. Will Clark hitting 333 in just 15 at bats. 61, and that's a strikeout 1-8. He could use it, but that's an 11. So now we're going to the out chart with a runner at third and see what happens with that. That is an 11. An 11 is a ground out. Ground out to the white die is a 1. So it's a ground out right back to the pitcher. And it says here, if the infield is in, holds at third if playing in, but can run with risk. 1-3 safe for, so you basically have a 50-50 shot if you're Robbie Thompson of scoring. And you know what? That's better odds than the next batter getting a base hit. So we're going to try it. We're going to try it because it says here infield in, holds. So, and I think infield in holds at third playing in. Okay. So we're going to run with risk. And again, it's a 1-3 safe, 4-6 he's out. He's out at the plate, so it's going to be a fielder's choice. It took a gamble. It, unfortunately for them, did not work. But like I said, better that Kevin Mitchell does not have a 50% chance of singling his next at bat. So I guess they figured it was a good gamble, but as it turned out, maybe it wasn't a good gamble. So he's out at home 1-2, and that puts Will Clark at first base. So Clark's at first with 2 outs, and now we'll get the runner on first out chart ready. And first runner on first hit chart ready. Kevin Mitchell hitting 250, 2 homers, 3 driven in. We get a 33, and that's going to be a single. So that would have obviously been a run had they kept the guy at third base, but hindsight's always 20/20. That's a 5. So on a single, it's hit to center field, to third if a fast runner, if 2 out average runner advances 2. So There were 2 outs. The runner, Clark, is actually a fast runner, so he will take third automatically, even without 2 outs. So let's put runners at the corners again with 2 outs for Candy Maldonado. So blame the third base coach. He screwed up on that one, as it turns out. Should not have taken the chance there. Here's Maldonado. He's hitting 400. 2 homers, 3 driven in. Danny Jackson, 64. That's an out. That's a 13. We go to runners on the corner out chart. And that is a 13. So that's going with a right-handed hitter. That's a ground out to short for a fielder's choice. So fielder's choice 6-4 will end the inning. And Danny Jackson escapes without any damage done thanks to the not so fortunate base running of the Giants. So Rick Reuschel on the mound for the San Francisco Giants, and he'll be facing Barry Larkin. Larkin hitting 188 on the replay. 13 for Larkin rather, is a single 1-5, but that's a 2. So Barry Larkin will get himself a leadoff single to start the ball game. There is no plus sign there. I am doing automated steal, so no stealing. And that brings up the goggled-faced Chris Sabo. That's a 26. It's a left-right split. He's a righty against a righty, so he's going to be out. And on an 8, that is a fly ball to center field. If a white die is 1, a fast runner can run with risk to get to second base. The white die is not a 1, and Larkin is average, so he has to hold. Just a regular fly out to center field, not deep enough to convince Larkin to try for second. Here comes Eric Davis. Davis hitting 353, 2 homers, 6 driven in. 46, that's the ballpark card. Going to Riverfront Stadium. A 6 is going to be a foul ball. So we're going into the seats for a foul ball. Not much foul, there's a lot of foul territory, I should say, according to the card, but Davis found that sliver that falls into the foul territory. 25, that's going to be an out with an X. That's an 18, though, so again, a fly out to center field. Exact same role we had last time, so the X doesn't matter. It's not a ground out. So double play with that X only comes up with that situation. So here's Daniels. 54, and I got to turn the sound down on this section of the sound. So let me do that real quick. Crowd reaction needs to go down a little bit here. We don't need that, and the rally sounds don't need to be so loud. So let me fix those real quick. Okay, now we can get to the 54. Now that I can think for myself. That was just way too loud. Again, another adjustment I'm making. So it's a 54 chart with the runner on base. So with the runner on base, 54 chart, right here, men on base wild. 1-18, a wild pitch or pass ball. Use the original D20, which is a 1, to determine if it's a wild pitch or a pass ball. Well, obviously with a 1, it's going to be a wild pitch. His wild pitch rating's a 1 or a 2. So in that case, it will be a wild pitch on Mr. Rick Reuschel. So that wild pitch will move Larkin to second with 2 outs for Cal Daniels, who's still at the plate. 66, that's going to be a double for Cal Daniels, and the Reds take a 1-0 lead. Solid double. Reds lead at 1-0. Here is Todd Benzinger, first baseman. .62, that's going to be an out 19 rather. Out 19 with the runner at second. It's probably just a standard fly to right, I would think. But I will verify it. Yep, standard fly out to right field, and that's going to end the inning. So at the end of 1 complete, and the crowd does, that's one thing they've got to adjust in this game, is the crowd reactions are not matching what's going on in the game. So your home team guy, maybe they cheered for the 1 run they scored, I don't know, but when your home team guy flies out to right, there should not be cheering. But I don't know. Whatever. All right, here's Kurt Manwaring. Or Kurt, what was that man wearing? 44, that's a 20, and that's going to be an out. He would have gotten a hit by pitch on a 12 to 18, a single on a 1 to 11, but that's going to be an out with the 20 there. And the 20 is going to be a line out wherever the white die is. That's on the basic out chart. 4, that's going to be a line out to second base. So he lines it right to Ronnie Oster. And there is one away. And Waring is out of there. Brings up third baseman Matt Williams. .44, and that's a double. Boy, we're getting these doubles all of a sudden. Doubles on the dice and doubles as a result. So Matt Williams a double. One out double for Williams, and that brings up Jose Uribe, shortstop. 12, that's an out. 14, runner at second chart. And a 14, let's see what brings about that. 14 says ground out, runner advances. So it's a ground out to second with the runner going to third base. But now they're 2 away. So you can get the ground out, but now it's 2 outs with the pitcher, Rick Reuschel, coming to bat. Reuschel, a 164 hitter, so not an automatic out. It's a 15, but in this case he strikes out, and that will end the inning. And we go to the bottom of the second. Still 1-0 Cincinnati. And like I said, I have no idea how this is looking. I'll finish the recording, and then if it doesn't look too terrible, you'll actually see this. If it looks like something I don't want to show, then I'll just delete it. Hopefully. Well, obviously, if you're listening to this, that means it went through. Here's Paul O'Neill. It says Rick Reuschel was tired. I don't know why it's doing that, because it's been 5 days since he's pitched. In the computer game, he's only pitched 1 start, so I don't know why it's given him the tired thing, but that's irrelevant for our purposes. 14 is an out, and that's a 7. It's a fly to left. But if you're seeing why that little note that says he's tired, that's something screwy with the Action PC computer. Because it said that before he even got his start, and I looked to make sure he didn't pitch a relief outing or anything. He's a starter only, and it's been 5 days since he started, so I don't know why the computer is glitching on that. Here's Reed, 51. That's going to be our first chance to go to the defensive chart. And we have a chance at an error. Roll for the error chances. That's a 41. We're looking at the error chance on the second baseman. It could be an exotic error, as a matter of fact. Second baseman in this case is Robbie Thompson. That's a 14. Robbie Thompson's error rating is only a 2, so it will not even be an error. We don't have to worry about going to the exotic chart because the 14 says he makes the play. So Robbie Thompson takes care of business, retires Jeff Reed. And again, if it's any of these rules, if it's any of these gameplay stuff that I'm doing wrong, if my strategy is wrong, you know, that's not what I'm worried about right now. I'm worried about getting the rules of the game down. So if I do anything that's incorrect by the rules, please let me know. Here's Ron Oster. 26, and that's a left-right split. He will get himself a single because he's a switch hitter. You get the automatic single on that. So a 2-out single, and what that will do, it may seem innocent, but it will allow Danny Jackson, the pitcher, to bat now and not have to lead off the next inning, although he was a 222 hitter for a pitcher, which is pretty good, obviously. That's a 46. We're going to the ballpark. 20 on the Riverfront Stadium says go to the 54 chart, use wildest section. How about that? We go to the wildest section on the 54 chart. What do you think about that? That's kind of interesting. Let me find the wildest section here. Wildest chart with a runner on first, okay? Wildest chart, runner on first. Now, I'm assuming we have to re-roll that because the only way to get there was on a 20, so I don't know if I keep the 20 and go with this or re-roll. I don't know. As far as I know, you keep the original result because most of these other ones say use original D20, but some of them say re-roll a D6, so I'm not sure if I'm supposed to re-roll this or what I'm supposed to do with it. Without knowing, I'm going to go ahead and re-roll it, just to be different. If that's wrong, please let me know. I'm going to re-roll it. We get a 13. So that's a topper down to third base line. Strong arm third baseman scoops and fires the first for the out. Others let it roll foul, and the batter rolls again. So Williams, is he a strong-armed Does he have a strong arm at third base? No, he's got an average arm, so he lets it roll foul, and we'll be have another at bat. So, and like I said, if it was a 20, if I kept the original 20 roll on the wildest chart, it would have been a liner to center. And so, who knows? That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this, so I can learn. If I was supposed to keep the original roll, just let me know that. It wasn't 100% clear in the rule book as far as I could tell. So, that's why I did what I did. I figured if I'm going to err, I'm going to err in the part of caution of re-roll. Here's Danny Jackson getting the chance to bat again. 42, and that's going to be a walk. On the C grades for Reuschel, he will walk the pitcher. And that's something you really don't want to do.
Take your base.
Walks the pitcher, puts runners at first and second with 2 outs for Barry Larkin. That's a 16, and that will be an out. That's a 3. Runners at first and second out chart with a 3. And what does that come up to be? He's a right-handed hitter, so it is a ground ball to third. White die 1, runners advance. It doesn't matter, it's the third out of the inning, so. The white die is not a 1, so he's going to say he's going to throw it to first base. He would have stepped on the bag for the force if the white die was a 1, but it wasn't, so we're just going to say he throws to first base to end the inning. So I guess some of these little idiosyncrasies I'm a little bit shaky on, but I think I've got the majority of the basic stuff down. It's the outlier stuff that I think is going to give me trouble. So leading off would be Brett Butler. Butler 0 for 1 in his first at bat. 61, and that's going to be a strikeout 1-8, but that's a 19, so it will be an out, and it'll be a fly to right with that 19 instead of a strikeout. So 1 away, and that's going to send up Robbie Thompson, second baseman. Robbie Thompson. 24, and that's going to be a hit by pitch 1-7, but that's an 18, so he's going to fly it to center for out number 2. Like I said, I don't know if I'm just in the honeymoon phase of this game or not, but I feel like I'm learning a brand new game, even though I actually played it 2 years ago. But with the charts and everything instead of the fast action cards, to me it's almost like a new game. And I'm enjoying it so far very, very much. 12 is a walk plus, so that means with the walk, Will Clark's going to try to steal. We'll look at the arm of the catcher, in this case Jeff Reed. His arm is average. He's got an A arm, so that means Clark is going to have his 15, and that's not going to change. Apparently, he was 8 for 11 stolen bases in real world. So we are looking now at a 1-15 to steal second base, and he's in there. Stolen base for Will Clark. Stolen base for Clark. He's in scoring position with 1 away. For Kevin Mitchell. 31, and that's going to be a single. Now, Replay Gamer likes to do a range check. I'm not sure if I'm up for that, but I might try it this time. So we're going to do a range play and see if that minimizes these hits, because they said sometimes it's running hot. So we're going to go to the range play. 44, that's the second baseman. We're checking the range of Ron Oster. So let's get Oster's range and find out what his range at second base is. His range is a 10. That's a 4. He's going to make the play, and that's going to end the inning. So by doing that, I took a potential run away and a hit away, but I think Replay Gamer is on to something there about not having this get to be too offensive, or whatever you want to call it. Kind of narrow down the running hot portion. So I'll adopt it. And here's Chris Sabo, which means now I'm going to adopt it going forward all the time. So from now on, I will use that. It's not a one-time thing. From now on, whenever I play this game, when I get a 31, I'm going to do a range check. All right, here is Sabo. Lead off, 36. And that's a single 1-4. That's a 20. And bases empty 20 is a line out to the white die, which is a 6. So he's going to line it out to Uribe at shortstop for out number 1. And again, I don't know why the Action PC computer is showing Rick Reuschel like exhausted when he shouldn't be. But in our game, it's not going to affect anything. Here's Eric Davis, 22, and that's a single 1-10. That's a 16, so he'll actually draw a walk instead. So Davis will walk, but there's no plus sign, so there will not be any stealing because everything is automated the way I'd prefer to do it right now. Here's Cal Daniels. 55 for Daniels, a double 1-16. That's a 20, so he's going to walk as well. So back-to-back walks. Actually caught a bad break that would have probably scored the run with a double. Who knows? Here's Todd Benzinger. 1 out, 2 on. 26, and he is the switch hitter that gets that left-right split. So left-right splits are automatically a 2-base advancement. And the Reds lead it now 2-0 with runners at the corners and only 1 out for Paul O'Neill. And I'm trying to figure out, I guess you guys can let me know whether the background stadium noise adds to the ambiance or is it annoying. Sometimes it adds to the ambiance like right now, but sometimes when it plays the music it might be a little loud. So I may have to tweak that just a bit. Here's Paul O'Neill. The infield's back for the double play. 62, that's an out, that's a 9. So we go to the first and third out chart with a 9 and see what happens with that. First and third out chart and a 9. So the 9 says fly ball to right field, runner holds. Fast or average runner on third can run with risk. Cal Daniels, I'm sure he's a fast runner, or at least average. He is average, so he can run with risk. So the fly out went to right field. Right fielder arm, Candy Maldonado. His arm is average, and the risk number is a 3. No, that's his assist number, my bad. Let me get that straight here. Run with risk. All right, so here we go. Run with risk. Average arm, that's what we're going by. 1-3, he's out. 4-6, he's safe. Man, do they try it, is the question. Last time we tried something like that, and he got thrown out. Kind of makes you gun shy now a little bit when you do that, but does it make sense? They're up 2-0. The fly out would make it 2 outs, and then you'd have Jeff Reed coming up. So you know what? They're going to try it. They're going to run with risk. 1-3, and it said on there 1-3 that he is going to be out, but a 4-6 he's safe. He's safe, so it's going to be a sacrifice fly for Paul O'Neill, as Candy Maldonado not able to get the throw in there. So a sacrifice fly to right field, and the Reds now lead it 3-0. Here's Jeff Reed. 46, we're going back to Riverfront Stadium. That's an 8, and 8's going to be a foul out. He's a lefty, so he fouls it out to Matt Williams at third. And that will end the inning. But at the end of 3 complete, didn't like my, it doesn't give me an option to foul. I got to do a pop out. Okay. So that's going to end the inning. 3 complete is 3-0 Reds. Candy Maldonado will step up for the Giants. Try to get them back in the ball game. 66, that's a good way to do it. 1-4 is a home run. That's an 8, so he'll settle with a double. Double for Candy Maldonado. That's going to bring up Kurt Manwaring. Maldonado's second double of the replay. Here is Manwaring. 23, and that's going to be a straight-up strikeout. And I don't know in Action PC if there's a setting that I can do to make that not pop up like that when a guy gets his second double or whatever like that. I don't really need to know that. And when I'm trying to do something like this, it just gets in the way. So I don't know if there's a way to bypass that or not. Any Action PC gurus might be able to tell me that. Here's Matt Williams, 61, and that's a strikeout 1-8, and that is a 1, so Danny Jackson's going to strike him out. And if you can't bypass it, it's no big deal. Just in this situation, it'd be nice to do so. Here's Jose Rijo, and there's probably something in the menu that would prevent that. I just don't know what it is off the top of my head. Here's your rebate, 36, and that's going to be an out G, but that's an 8, fly ball to center. But it says out G, so it means it's going to be a ground out. And I believe, yep, it's going to be with a right-handed batter, it's going to be a code 6, which is a ground ball to short. So it would have been a fly out, but since Danny Jackson is a ground ball pitcher with that GBX, or out G rather, sitting there, that means that changed that result to a ground out. So we go to the bottom of the 4th. Rick Reuschel back out. He'll be facing Oster, Jackson, and Larkin. 23, and that's going to be a strikeout for Mr. Reuschel. 1 away for Danny Jackson. '54, and we're going to the '54 chart with nobody on base. The wild section. D20 is a 15. Whoops, let's bring this down a little lower here. 15, single, and refer to the number 13 through 15. So it's a single to right field. Now we're going to roll versus the E rating for an extra base. So the E rating for the right fielder, Maldonado, his error rating in right field is a 7. So we're going to roll a 1 to 7. He's going to commit an error. 8 or higher, he doesn't commit the error. And that's an 11. So no error on the play, just a base hit for the pitcher, Danny Jackson. How about that? So 1 out single, but Jackson brings up Barry Larkin. Whoops. Whoa, white dye just fell right out of my hand here. Like a bar of soap or something. Let's try this again. 66 for Larkin, and that's going to be a double. One day was a triple, but that's a double. And with a runner on first, hit chart, it's an 11. Says left field holds at second. Oh, that's a single. I'm sorry. Left field, if 2 outs, scores fast runner. No, he's not a fast runner. So it's second and third. We are looking at second and third now with only 1 out after that double by Larkin. Now the infield for the Giants will come in for Chris Sabo. They got to choke that run off. 51, we're over here on an error check. 51. We get a 41. That's an exotic error chance on the second baseman. That's a 5. And Thompson, let's see what his error rating is. Thompson's error rating, oh, it's only a 2. So he will not make the error. We will not go to the exotic error chart because his error rating is only a 2. So good thing for the Giants on that one. So that means if the play is made, runner on second, hit to pitcher, catcher, short, or third, runner holds unless forced. But it was hit to second, so the runner's going to advance. So a ground ball to second. And that will, oh, I'm sorry, the infield was in. My bad. I forgot the infield was in. Let me go back to the chart here about infield in. Where is it talk about infield in here? Infield playing in, home to first, ground ball double play. Wow, that seems really weird. Hold on, let's go to it was second and third right here. Runner advances, batter out at first. If playing in, then out at the plate. So it does say out at the plate. So according to this, it does say that with runners at second and third, and it was hit to second base, infield's playing in, the out's at the plate. So it's going to go 4. We're going to call this, it's a fielder's choice now. It's going to go four to 2. And they get Jackson out at the plate. Larkin goes to third. Sabo is at first. Fans are booing on that base running call. But playing the infield in, they had to. Here's Eric Davis now with 2 outs. 36, and that's going to be a single 1 to 4, but that's a 17. So that's going to be a fly to left to end the inning. So we played 4 complete here at Riverfront, and the Reds lead it 3-0. Rick Reuschel will lead things off against Mr. Jackson. .42, and that's going to be a base on balls. So Danny Jackson walks the pitcher Reuschel. Obviously a cardinal sin, as they say. Reuschel's aboard. Here's Brett Butler. .42, and that's another walk. So back-to-back walks. Danny Jackson having some issues with the strike zone. And that little window, 41 to 45, is walk haven over here for Danny Jackson. 13, though, is going to be an out with an X, so it's possible double play. That's a 15, so we'll go to our first and second out chart and check out the 15. 15 with a right-handed batter, and there's an X there. It says ground ball to short, fielder's choice out at second base, but if it's an X, it's a double play. So it will be a double play because of the X chart. We will have the double play right there, ready to go. It will go down. And I said, who did I say it was hit to? First and second, 15 was hit too short. So it's going to be a tailor-made double play, 6-4-3 double play. Going to third is Reuschel, but boy, that's a big double play to get. Tailor-made double play by Giovanni's, sponsored by Giovanni's Tailor Shop. And here's Will Clark. 54, runners are on base. Let's see what we got here. Runner on first, 54, runner on first. We're going to check the wild pitch rating. That's a 10. His wild pitch rating is an 18, so it will be a wild pitch, and that will score the run. Again, if that's incorrect, somebody let me know. But as far as I can tell, that will score the run on the wild pitch. Look at it again. We're in the wild section with men on base. And it says it's a 1 to 18, which is a 10. Use the original D20 to check wild pitch. He's a 1 to 18 wild pitch, so to me that is a wild pitch. So the Reds give up their first run on the wild pitch. Here's Clark now with the bases clear. 45 could be another walk, but that's a 17, so it's out of range. So he will just fly to left. And there's going to end the inning. But the Giants get a run, cut the lead to 3-1. And now we're going to bring up Cal Daniels for the Reds. It'll be Daniels, Benzinger, and O'Neill. 32, and that's going to be an out for Reuschel. That's a 3, which with a left-handed batter is a ground ball to Will Clark unassisted. 3 unassisted for Clark. He will take care of it himself. 1 down, and that's going to send us to Todd Benzinger. 63 is an out. That's an 18. Fly ball to center. 2 down, and that will send up Paul O'Neill. And for those that like this game with the fast action cards, I have no knock against you whatsoever. I can see the appeal to those. Just for me personally, this is my style that I seem to like. Everybody has their own way. 43 is an out. That's a 12, and that's going to be a white die pop-up. 3 pops it up to the first baseman, Will Clark. And that will end the inning. So we go to the 6th. Score remains 3-1 Cincinnati. And Mr. Kevin Mitchell will lead things off against Danny Jackson. We get a 36, and that's going to be an out G. So that's going to end up being a ground ball to short with the runner being, with the batter being a right-handed hitter. It would have been a fly to center based on the D20, but the outfield G, or not the outfield G, the out G overrides that. So again, Danny Jackson, being a ground ball pitcher that he is, gets the out on the ground out. In this case, bases empty, doesn't matter. But it could spawn a double play or who knows what. Here's Maldonado, 43, and that's going to spawn a walk. That little middle section there is just killer for Danny Jackson. It's Walk City, a walk fest. Here's Kurt Manwaring. 64, and that's going to be an out G, so possible double play here as well. Let's see here, 16 with the runner at first. Out chart, runner at first, and a 16. Probably some sort of ground ball to short, I would imagine. We'll check it out. 16, and that is an X there, so ground out to short, and with an X, that's a double play. Well, it's not going to be an X. I'm sorry, it's not an X. It's a ground ball thing here. So 16, ground out to short. White die is not a 1, it's a 4. A strong arm shortstop starts the double play, so I don't think Barry Larkin's a strong arm shortstop, but he might be. Now he's actually, they're asking to list him as a weak arm, which I thought was kind of strange. But it will not be a double play, it will simply be a fielder's choice. 6-4. Or out number 2. And that sends us to Matt Williams. .65, and that's a home run, 1-14. That is gone. Matt Williams has just tied this ball game. 65, it's a home run, 1-14. Matt Williams doesn't change that. That's a 1. It is gone. Matt Williams, home run, 2-run shot, and we are tied at 3 apiece. His first home run of the season, a no-doubter. And here's Jose Uribe. 26, and he gets the base hit being a switch hitter. Oops, Uribe with the single. Now, that brings up Rick Reuschel. 53, we got a range check coming up. It's a 33. We're checking the range of the first baseman, Benziger. So let's check Benziger's range. Benziger is a range factor, is a 7. That's a 15, so he fails on the range play. So a failed range play with a runner at first. Let's see here, 33 range play. It's an infield single, so it's just a 1 base advancement. So he failed the range play, and Rick Reuschel gets a base hit out of it. How about that? Here's Brett Butler now coming up. Still 2 outs. Danny Jackson can't get that 3rd out. 36, and that's going to be an out this time. 20. Runners at first and second, but it's going to be overridden by a ground out, I do believe, because of that G on his out chart. So it says a line out here, but since it's an out G, it's going to be a ground ball to second base, and that will end the inning. We're already 2 outs, so just a simple 4-3 ground out will take care of business. But the Giants took care of business, and it's now a 3-3 ball game. And I think Danny Jackson, I think they're going to pinch hit for him. We're going to pinch hit for Danny Jackson because his spot is coming up second. Or I'm sorry, it's coming up 3rd. So we'll see. If there's 2 out spaces empty, we might let him keep going. Otherwise, we're looking at a pinch hitter. So here's Reed. 32, and that's going to be an out. Out 3 is going to be a ground out to the first baseman, Will Clark. 3 unassisted. 1 away for Ron Oster. And picking up a bat for the Reds. We'll figure out who that's going to be. Second, Oster. 15, he's out. That's a 20. It's a line out to the 3rd baseman. So he's going to line it out to Matt Williams for out number 2. Now we go to our bench to see who might pinch hit for Danny Jackson. And it looks like it's going to be the old guy, Ken Griffey. So Ken Griffey has picked up a bat, and he will hit for Danny Jackson. And, of course, the Reds will need a new pitcher. But Danny Jackson's going to go 6 innings, give up 3 runs, and almost assuredly have a no decision. Unless the Reds can score this inning. So Ken Griffey, he gets the call to pinch hit. 263 hitter on the 89 season is Mr. Griffey. Ken Griffey. 61, and that's going to be an out. It'll be a fly to right, and that'll end the inning. So we will need a new pitcher for the Reds. And see, obviously the sound of the stadium is not matching up because they would not be cheering for their own guy making an out, obviously. So the Reds will go to their bullpen, and we'll see who they got coming up for the Giants. It's going to be Thompson, Clark, and Mitchell, 2 righties. So it would appear that the Reds will go to... They will go to Mr. Kent DeColvey, the veteran. Kent DeColvey. Kent DeColvey will be on, and we need a bullpen session for Kent DeColvey. And he's in a C grade also. Boy, these pitchers can't catch a break. In a C grade as well. DeColvey to Thompson. 56. That's going to be a strikeout, though. So DeColvey will get the strikeout. Despite the C grade, he gets the strikeout. There is one away for Will the Thrill. 52. We got an error check. Error chance, I should say. And 11. That's on the left fielder. So we're checking the left fielder, Cal Daniels. That's a 16, so very unlikely he would make this error, but we need to check it anyway. And actually, he's got a 0 error rate, and he can't commit an error, so it's going to be a good play. Nice play out there for Cal Daniels. 2 away. DeColvey appreciated it. And here's Kevin Mitchell with 2 outs. 61, and that's going to be a strikeout on a 1 or a 2, but that's an 8, so it'll be a fly to center, and that will end the inning. So we go to the bottom of the 7th inning stretch time here in Cincinnati. The score tied at 3. All right, so Rick Reuschel pitching to Barry Larkin. That's an 11. That's going to be a single for Barry Larkin. And now the Giant bullpen starts to stir with activity. Chris Sabo, the batter. 3rd hit on the game for Barry Larkin. 22 for Sabo. That's a single plus on a 1-9. That's a 1, so he will get the single, but where does the runner go? Runner on first, base hit chart with the 1, says runner left field, it's hit the single to left, advance to third, the white die is a 2. The white die is a 2, so he goes to third, which means that now that Sabo can steal, because first base, or second base rather, is now open. So Eric Davis is coming up, but Sabo's going to steal first. He's a 12, and the catcher, the catcher Manwaring has an average arm, so that doesn't change. So it's a 12. And he's in there. Stolen base for Chris Sabo. That puts runners at 2nd and 3rd with nobody out after the stolen base by Mr. Sabo. So 2nd and 3rd, nobody out. 2nd stolen base of the season for Sabo. Here's Eric Davis. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. This will be Reuschel's last batter to face. They have a lefty coming up, and in the bullpen for the Giants is former Cincinnati Red Joe Price, left-handed pitcher, I should say. He's loosening in the bullpen. But right now, Reuschel facing Eric Davis. The infield is in. And another double, 22. 1-10 is a single, and that's exactly what we have, is a single. So we go to the 1st and 2nd base running chart. And the D20 is a 10. And it says on a single, it's an infield single. Infield single holds at 3rd. That doesn't make any sense, does it? Hit chart, oh, I'm sorry, I was looking at 1st and 2nd. It should be 2nd and 3rd, my bad. 2nd and 3rd hit chart, not that one. Thought that didn't make any sense. So we go to our second and third chart. Forgot about the stolen base there, didn't I? And a 10. No, it's an out chart. I don't want that. I want the hit chart. Second and third hit chart. Where did you go? Why can I not find that? Oh, here it is. It was buried under the other one. So a 10 says, yeah, it says infield hit holds at third. That seems weird to me. Runners at second and third. It's an infield hit. Wow, that's kind of really weird here. But this says runner on third scores, so why would it say holds at third if the runner on... Or is it saying the runner on second holds at third? I guess that's what it's saying. Okay. I guess that's what the terminology is that it's understood that the runner on third would score, but the runner on second, since it's an infield single, will only take 90 feet. So Eric Davis reaches, and that's going to be it for Rick Reuschel. He is done. Reuschel is out of there. He may have went too long as it was. We don't know. But Joe Price, the left-hander, will be coming on for the San Francisco Giants, and he'll be facing Cal Daniels. But first of all, we have a bullpen session for Joe Price. And finally, somebody not on the C grades. He's actually on his B grades. So we go to the bullpen and bring on Joe Price. Joe Price it is. They're going to see if the price is right. Facing Cal Daniels. Nobody out. They need outs. But man, you'd like to play the infield in too. I think they're going to play back for the double play and trust their offense. So they need to get some outs. They can't afford to have a 3 or 4 run inning here. 53 though, there might be a range check problem. Good thing the infield was back, huh? Because all these pluses probably say with the infield in, that would have been hits or whatever. So the infield is back on a range check, and we get a 52. It's a range check on the third baseman, Matt Williams. Check out Matt Williams' range at third base. His range is a 16. That's an 8. He will get to that. So we'll get runners at the corners. Runners at first and third. Hit ball to third base. Oh, here we go. First and third, hit to third. Runner on third holds, batter out at first. If playing in, then out at the plate. So the runner on third holds, batter is out at first. So basically it's going to be a 5-3 ground out, but the runner on third will hold. Runner on first does go to second. So I guess a minor victory there by the Giants to not have the run score. Here's Benziger. Now the infield will come in with second and third and 1 out. Benziger, your batter. Lefty Paul O'Neill is on deck. And actually, they're going to walk Benziger. Intentionally set up a double play for Paul O'Neill. So there'll be an intentional pass given to Benziger, who's already got 3 RBI in the game. So he's got 3 of the 4 runs batted in. They're going to now pitch to lefty Paul O'Neill and play for the double play. He does have some X's on his out chart. 23, though, is going to be a strikeout, so that's almost as good as a double play. Not quite, obviously, but they get the second out of the inning. Now another left-hander, Jeff Reed, at the plate. So Price trying to get out of this with minimal damage. Facing Jeff Reed, 15, he will do it. That's an out. That's a 5 with the bases loaded out chart, and a 5. It's a ground out to first. But it's going to go 3-1, so it's going to be a ground out to Clark, and he'll flip to Price covering on the 3-1 put out. And everybody else will stay in pat. They will not advance anywhere. And that will end the inning. So it's a 4-3 ball game. San Francisco's still in it, thanks a lot part to Joe Price. All right, Tekulve up now. Will face Maldonado to start the top of the 8th. 4-9-0 for the Reds, 3-7-0 for the Giants. Maldonado, 51. We are looking at an error check. That is a 51 again, and that's an exotic error on the third baseman, Sabo, assuming he makes the error. And that's a 2, so that's almost guaranteed to be an error. You would think Sabo would have to make an error. Yep, his error rating is a 7. So the 2 fits. So we're going to the exotic error chart. Exotic error chart on, whoops, right here. Exotic error chart. It's found on the flip side of this chart. Whoops, I didn't print the flip side of the chart. I flipped it. I printed it as a separate thing. I really should have printed those double-sided probably. That might be a correction I might make in the future. Again, this is the kind of thing I'm doing to get the tweaks out. So the exotic error chart. Where did you go? I just had you not that long ago. Exotic error. Gotta find the exotic error chart. It's mixed in here somewhere. Just have to find it. There you are. Exotic error chart. Okay. Bases are empty on the exotic error chart. The error is on the third baseman. Base is empty. Real bad throw and a slow roller by the third baseman. Batter to second. Fast batter goes to third, but is thrown out if the right fielder has a strong arm. All right, there's a whole lot of stuff there. First of all, the runner, in this case, Candy Maldonado, is he a fast runner? No, he's an average runner, so that ends that. So according to this, empty, real bad throw, slow roller to third base, batter to second. So it's going to be a 2-base error, basically, on Chris Sabo is what that's turning into. 2-base error on Chris Sabo. And going to second base will be Maldonado. So the tying runs in scoring position with nobody out for Kurt Manwaring. 62, that's going to be an out. That's an 18, that's a fly to center. Let's make sure there's no runner advancement going on. The fly out to second base and an 18. Actually, it says here, hold on, hold the phone. Can't assume anything, as they say. So according to this, an 18, a fly out to center, runner advances. Slow runner holds, but can run with risk. So it says he's going to advance because Maldonado is an average runner, not a slow runner. So he will actually take third on the fly out to center field. So it was deep enough to get Maldonado to third base with 1 out, which was huge, because now the tying run is 90 feet away with 1 out, and it's Matt Williams. Williams already with a 2-run homer in his last at bat. DeColby has to be careful. The infield for the Reds is in. That's a 21, and that's going to be a strikeout, a huge strikeout for DeColby. Now the infield can go back to normal. And Jose Uribe, the batter. Pitcher spot on deck. They would pinch hit for Price, of course, if it got to that. 54. What do you know? 54 with a runner on third. This could be big. 54. Runner on base. Well, we're on the wrong side here. I need the other 54 chart. Had the wrong 54 chart out. Just a second. Let me get the right one out. Or the correct one out, I should say. The correct 54 chart with runner on base. We go to the wild chart, and a 1 is obviously within this category of a wild pitch, so it will be a wild pitch on Kent DeColby because his wild pitch rating is a 1 to 12, and that's a 1. So to me, that is an automatic wild pitch, and that will tie the game. And again, if that's wrong, tell me about it in the comments, and I will fix it. Can't do anything about this game, but future games I'll certainly be aware of it. But as it is, it's a wild pitch. Wild pitch, and that's going to tie the game at 4. That gets Rick Reuschel off the hook. Uribe, chance to bat, 34, and that's going to be a single off of, I'm sorry, yeah, he's on his B grade, so it's a single. Single for DeColby, for Uribe off of DeColby, I should say. And now we'll get a pinch hitter for Price by the Giants. Let's look at their bench, see who they have available that they can go to. Ernest Riles is a good left-handed hitter. He's a possibility. 278 hitter, so it makes sense to me to go to Ernie Riles. So the bench call is made, and Ernest Riles, or Ernie Riles, whatever you want to call him, he is up to hit. So Ernie Riles will be the pinch hitter for Joe Price, and of course we need a new pitcher in the bottom half of the inning. Right now, Ernest Riles taking on Kent DeColby. That's a 66. A 1 to 3 is a homer. It will be a double instead, and it's a 20. So let's check base runner advancement on that single, or on that double rather, with a runner on first. Runner on first and a double. It's hit to center field, so that means he's got to hold. So it's only going to get second and third. But all of a sudden, here come the Giants now. Brett Butler's your batter, and I think that might be all for Kent DeColvey. They might go to the lefty out of the bullpen. I think they will. So they're going to the bullpen, and they're going to go to one of the nasty boys, Norm Charlton. Norm Charlton will come in to pitch. The pitcher spot does bat second, so we could be looking at a double switch here. The last out was made by Reed. I hate to change catchers, though. You know what? We're not going to double switch. We're just going to get... Well, boy, you'd like to keep Charlton around, though, because he can face... How many batters can he face? Check out Charlton's numbers here. Charlton... Well, he can face 9 batters, so you'd hate to... We're going to double switch. We'd hate to lose this thing here, so we're going to double switch here. Might not be with the catcher spot, though, so let's see here. Who else might they want to use here? O'Neill, Benzinger. They got all kinds of guys they can double switch with. They're going to switch with Paul O'Neill. So they're going to take Paul O'Neill out of the ball game. And we need a right fielder, and that's going to be Herm Winningham. He will hit in the number 9 spot. So Winningham is your new right fielder, and he bats in the number 9 position, which means he's going to bat number 2 in the order in the bottom of the inning. And it also means Norm Charlton is in, and we got a bullpen session coming up for Charlton. And he's a B grade, so he's going to be facing Brett Butler. Score tied at 4. Runners at second and third. He's got to get this out. 32, and he does get the out on the B grade. That's a 10. Second and third out chart with a 10 is a line out to the white die, which is a 2, so it's actually going to be a foul tip strikeout. So he actually gets a strikeout since the catcher is involved. It's a foul tip strikeout, and we are going to the bottom of the 8th, tied at 2. Now the Giants will need a new pitcher. Let's see who they want to turn to. They're going to turn to... Boy, who do they go to here? They're going to go to Jeff Brantley. Jeff Brantley will come in and pitch, and he will just hit in the regular 9 position because the pitcher spot was so far off. He can face 10 batters in relief. So it will be Oster, Winningham, and Larkin due up for the Reds. Here in the bottom of the 8th, tied at 4. Brantley needs a bullpen session, and he is a C grade. Boy, bad news there. So here's Oster. 55, and that's going to be a double 1-3. That's going to be a single, though. So he'll settle with the base hit. And boy, had we known Oster was going to do that, we could have left the pitcher in the bunt. Let's see about Winningham. What kind of bunt rating does he have? His bunt rating's a 5, so they're going to lay down a bunt. That's a 2, so the bunt will be successful. Now we're going to find out where the bunt's going to go. The 2 says it goes to the catcher. The catcher will field it. So Manwaring will come out and field it. It's got to be a 1-5 to be successful. And it is. So good bunt. The good bunt is done. It's a sacrifice bunt. And the only play is 2-4. If you're scoring at home, and you know you should be. 2-4 on the put out. And now the go-ahead run is in scoring position with 1 out for the top of the order and Barry Larkin. Oh, that 1 die didn't go through. We'll re-roll that. 44, and that's a single. That's an 8. We'll see if the run can score. Runner on second, advanced chart. Base hit chart, I should say. Runner at second. Let's see what he does here with an 8. And 8 says center fielder assist chance at home. So Brett Butler has an assist chance, right to his credit. His assist rating is a 4. 4 for the assist chance, as far as I can tell. It's assist chance of 4. It's got an A with a 4, average arm and a 4 assist chance. So 1-4, and they will throw Oster out at the plate. It's not, it's a 6. So how about that? Now an assist chance, does the runner move up? Let's see here. Where'd he go here? It was a assist chance at home. Batter goes to second, absolutely. So it's going to be a single plus for the run, as it's a failed assist chance and the Reds lead it. That's a 4th hit of the game for Larkin. And again, I hope I did that right. Larkin's now at second. It was a failed assist chance, so the runner automatically takes second on the assist play. Here's Sabo. 24. It's a hit by pitch 1-2. Instead, it's a fly to center. And with the runner at second on an 18, the runner will advance, but a slow runner holds. So obviously, well, I didn't put Larkin at second for some reason. I don't know why I didn't do that. Let's see. So I'm going to move him to third. That's where he should be. So it's a fly out to center field, and we're going to move Larkin to third where he should be, where he should have been the first time. So he goes to third like he should have. 2 down for Eric Davis. And now in the bullpen, John Franco is ready to go for the Reds. As he is their closer. 33, he might get some help. Single with a plus sign. So Eric Davis is going to give him a bonus run to make the score 6-4. Plus he's going to steal. Stolen base is a 15 because the average arm doesn't change it. And that is a 5, so he will get there with a stolen base. Brantley running into the issues. Here comes Kyle Daniels. 36, and that's going to be an out. I think he was on his, if I remember correctly, he was on his B grades. So that's an out, and it will be a 15. 15 with, let's see, runner at second on the out chart, a 15. Runner at second out chart. 15 is a left-handed batter, grounds out 3-1. So there's a ground out to Clark, who flips it to the pitcher covering. And that will end the inning, but the Reds get 2 runs to take a 6-4 lead into the top of the 9th. That'll be it for Brantley. And coming in to pitch for the Reds now will be Mr. John Franco. Franco is their closer. Franco with 32 saves. So he's going to come on and try to finish the deal. Go to bullpen session for Franco. And that's an 18, so he's on his C grade. So unfortunately for Franco, he's got to not have his best stuff. We'll go to the bullpen for Franco. And see what he can do. John Franco. He's on a C grade facing Robbie Thompson. 13 is an out. That's a 6, so it's going to be a ground ball to short. 1 away. Reds 2 outs away from getting this one done. Got to face Will Clark and Kevin Mitchell. It's the heart of the order for the Giants. No sure thing for Franco. 52, we got an error check. So anything can happen with an error check. It's 22, so we're checking the error on second baseman Oster. That's a 16, so I don't think Oster is going to have any problem with that. If you make an error that much, you shouldn't be in the major leagues. His error rate's only a 4, so Oster will easily make that play. 2 down. Final chance. Final chance will be Kevin Mitchell, with Maldonado on deck if Mitchell reaches. Franco 1 out away from securing the save. 42. It's a C grade. It's going to be a walk. So Franco walks the batter Mitchell, and now the tying run has come to the plate in Candy Maldonado. 1 long ball, and this could be out of here. That's a 22. It's going to be a walk 1-2, strikeout 3-9. That's a 7. Struck him out. Struck him out, and there is your ball game. 6-4. Victory for the Reds. 6 runs, 12 hits, and 1 error for Cincinnati. 4 runs, 9 hits, and no errors for the Giants. Winning pitcher, Norm Charlton. Loser, Jeff Brantley, with the save going to John Franco. Now, I'm sure I probably made some mistakes there. Please let me know in the comments. I won't be offended. I want to learn. I don't think I checked some of the KDs that I might have needed to check on some of these different chances, like for the errors and so forth. I don't remember the rolls being that low to fit the KD chances, however, so I don't know if I got it, if I missed something or whatever, but please let me know. But there you go. There's my first attempt at doing it this particular setup. I have no idea how it turns out until I look at the recording. So hopefully it wasn't too butchered, but that's going to do it from Riverfront Stadium, where the Reds win it by the score of 6-4 by scoring 2 runs in the 8th inning. And getting the win for Norm Charlton, Brantley taking the loss. In the game, Barry Larkin was 4 for 5 with a double and 3 runs scored. So he is the player of the game. Barry Larkin is your player of the game. There he is right there, Barry Larkin, the player of the game. On his 4 for 5 outing, he hit 342 in 1989. So 4 for 5 for Barry Larkin with 3 runs scored and a run batted in, including a double. And he is the player of the game. So hope you all enjoyed that presentation. If you'd rather see straight out Fall Classic without all the accoutrements, let me know that too. If you think they added something to it, let me know that too. If you thought the crowd was annoying, just let me know comments, good or bad. I'm a big boy. I can take the comments. I've already been told how stupid I am and how much of a loser I am on how I manage the game. So I can take anything, no problems. I'm ready for whoever it is. So that's going to do it from here. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.